Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good, I like the sound of that. We hereby call the special meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order. Today's date is June 28th, 2021. We ask that you please stand with us for the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Father, we come to thank you for this beautiful day that you have allowed us to experience. It's a beautiful day in the town of Spring Lake, and we're eternally grateful for all that you continue to do for us. Our business today, as outlined, Lord, is to hammer out, to come to terms, to work out, and to figure out the budget for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. So we ask for clarity, we ask for guidance, we ask for your blessings upon all of us, including our first responders, our military men and women, and everyone assembled here, that we might continue to work on one accord. In your name is our prayer. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you see, according to our agenda, our business today is the budget. And to that end, our town manager, Ms. Willenweber, may resume from here.
Good morning. Samantha Willenweber, interim town manager. Thank you all for coming today. We are here to discuss our fiscal year 21-22 budget. This is a special call meeting. And as y'all may know, our budget public hearing was last Monday, June 21st at night. And prior to that, we've had 2 other work sessions on this budget. And before I begin, I do want to introduce, we have some folks here from the Local Government Commission, and I believe they do want to speak, so I will turn it over to them. And we have David Irwin, Mark Baker, and Susan McCullen here, and they will speak before I begin my presentation.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Susan McCullen. I'm the director of the fiscal management section in the Local Government Commission. I've spoken to y'all before, and I appreciate the chance to come speak to you today. I want to talk about the warning letter that the secretary to the Local Government Commission, Sharon Edmondson, sent to the board last week. That resolution was a warning, giving notice to the town under 151-181C regarding your failure as a town to comply with the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. We do not issue these lightly. We don't do a lot of these. We also don't take any pleasure in being in this role with a community. It's not our desire to manage the finances of a local government. However, statutes require us to do that if we understand from the trend that we're seeing that local government is at risk of not being able to make debt payments going forward. And frankly, that's where the town is clearly headed. We are concerned that the current level of spending, which violates North Carolina General Statute 159.8, by permitting the expenditure of the payment out of money that is not included in the general fund's budget. We're concerned that that level of spending has been prevalent throughout numerous years over the last 5 years. Last year to the tune of $1.4 million between your budget and your actual. And this year, a projected amount that is similar. Those amounts will ultimately get the town to a deficit general fund position, which is unprecedented for a town of this size in North Carolina. And basically, our director, Sharon Evanson, has said there's no logical reason for the town to be in this position if it, except for the culture of overspending that you have no legal authority to do under North Carolina general statute. You, as a community, do not have the authority to cut a check unless there is money budgeted in the general fund or or your enterprise fund budgets. It's not there. And so, bottom line is that is our reason for being here today. These levels of spending are not sustainable. Back in May, just 1 month ago, we all executed a fiscal accountability agreement between the town and the state, and we agreed on a list of mutual goals, one of which was to adopt a fiscally sound budget for 2022. Now, the state's kept their end of that bargain. We have provided significant state resources. We've been up here at work sessions. We have provided advice. We have worked with your staff, and your staff has kept their end of the bargain as well. Your professional manager, your interim manager, provided you with 11 options so that you could choose as a board which of the less painful cuts you would take in your community to begin to restore the fiscal health of this community. 11 options. Do you have any idea the amount of time and effort that took to offer this board those options? But the board, at the work session last week, decided not to keep its end of the bargain. If you remember, last time I was here, I told you that you will have to make some hard choices and that you would have to find the political will to stand firm. And you did not find that last Monday night. You didn't. This community has got to be able to pay its commitments to its employees, payroll, utilities, and debt. And it's not going to be able to continue to do that if you don't get your fiscal house in order. And that means a balanced budget. Now, the revenues in this budget are reasonable. And you won't have any more revenues significantly than what you budgeted. You may have a little bit. You're not going to have a lot unless you find more revenue sources to cover the additional expenditures that you have proposed Monday night. So if you're going to propose additional expenditures, I don't know what the totals that you were proposing additionally Monday night, but I understand there were 7 additional police positions, 3 additional fire and transportation. That's my understanding. I was not there. If you're going to propose additional expenditures over and above what your professional manager has proposed for you, you will have to levy additional general fund taxes. That's the only way to do it. You can't spend money that is not there. You don't have fund balance. The only way you're going to be able to avoid cuts is to raise your taxes. Now, are you willing to do that in a community where you have the highest tax rate in the county for municipality? I understand your tax rate's 70 cents. Sometimes tax increases are needed. I'm not gonna speak to that, that's your decision to make. But you will not have any additional revenues to fund these expenditures, and you can't pull the money out of the air. So you'll have to figure out how to do that as a board. I'm just in conclusion, because I'm said what I need to say. We are advising you to adopt the budget at the level that your manager presented it and recommended it to you. You don't have to take the options that you chose. If you're not satisfied with the options that you chose, you've got 2 more days, 3 days, 2 days, to rethink that and rework it, or you need to do an interim budget. And you actually can't do an interim budget because you have no fund balance. So if you don't do that, then we're going back to Raleigh. If you don't adopt a reasonable budget, we're going back to Raleigh, and we're going to call another emergency meeting of the LGC, and we'll be back with something that is beyond a warning. And we will adopt a reasonable budget for this community. That's your choice as a board. Any questions?
Alderwoman Sutherland and then Alderwoman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Susan, I thank you, McCullen,
Yes.
for taking the opportunity to come again. I heard you the first time.
Yeah.
I introduced that letter at the last meeting. I'm prepared this morning to go ahead on and propose that we adopt that budget.
Wonderful.
I've spoken to the police officer and talked with them to let them know as well. Those positions was not filled in the last 2 to 3 years. I asked our interim, is the town of Spring Lake safe that I reside in, my colleagues reside in, and the taxpayers reside in? Because we will always want to make sure, I do, as a board member, that we doing above and beyond. This is unprecedented. Of the 17 years that I've served on this board, and it hurts
It does.
because I live here, and I feel, and I'm not going to say I, because I've been sounding a horn for a long time, to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. I do understand that we're a unit, we're a board. I want to thank Mr. Lindsay that came and opened our eyes. And that's what we needed, because I would hate for these employees to be downsized more than what it is that work hard for the town of Spring Lake. Our first responders, police department, as well as our fire department. When they come to my home for emergencies or when it's a fire. So, as a board member, there is hard decisions. Thank Miss Nancy. I thank Miss Samantha. I thank you all for opening the eyes. This has never been our money. It's taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
And we should have been good stewards to make sure. And Miss Samantha gave us a history. So I say to the citizens and the public, to make sure when you post, receive the, having to read it, and sometimes I don't entertain it because I'm not on Facebook, to read, somebody was up at 1 o'clock sending a long message. And I do say the great town of Spring Lake, because the late Ethel Clark built a foundation with the board members and those prior, and we have never been in a situation that we're in now.
Yeah.
So I would hate for the employees that we have here now to lose their positions. And then it was asked who lives here in the town of Spring Lake to work here. I know that's against the law because we just can't hire people in Spring Lake. So I am proposed at this particular time to go ahead on and pass the budget. There's many hours been spent. There's been one-on-one with the board members. Ms. Wood came down and gave us a firm
Yeah.
educational and who was in charge and what we need to do. And I am so sorry that I'm one board member and we have other colleagues that understand the budget. And if we don't understand, I just feel like we shouldn't pass a budget in the past if we didn't know what we were doing. So we at a point now that we've been educated, and I feel as a board member, we need to go ahead on and not prolong this, because I understand those letters. I have all of them. And I asked the citizens if they wanted a copy, because I believe that we should be transparent,
Yes,
honest, and truthful. We got in a situation because not being honest and transparent and truthful. So I'm prepared this morning because I don't feel like we need to go over this stuff, because if those 7 positions was not filled in the past, and I did ask the officers, are we safe in the community? The fire department, can they service this community? So I'm ready to pass this budget, and so we can move on.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Alderwoman Jackson, then Mayor Pro Tem.
Good morning.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. I hear you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that Ms. Sutherland, I think, had put a motion on the floor to adopt the budget as presented.
Yes.
Well, I didn't hear her move. She said she was prepared.
I'd like to make a motion. I'm
Hold on,
prepared to make
please.
it.
I'm correcting him right now. And see, the other important thing, sir, now, Alderwoman Jackson rung in, but my proposal would be, and my hope would be, that all 5 board members agree and vote on this budget. But you see, we have 2 people absent. Now, I heard the term, the political will. I don't know why 2 are absent.
That's incorrect, Mayor. I'm on the call.
Okay, well, do we still have 1 absent? And we do
Well,
have,
we can-
hold on, please. We do have a regular meeting planned for tonight. And I think we can wait until all 5 board members are here so that the board can show total support. Because you see, when there's one maverick, that one is could potentially destroy all of the work of the others. Now, I don't think we have to do it today. I'm sorry, this morning. I think we can do it when all 5 are accounted for. That sounds reasonable. But Alderwoman Jackson,
Good morning.
and then Mayor Pro Tem.
I want to thank you for coming here and thank you for some information. This is my 2nd year as board. I know I probably was one of the hoorahs, I guess I'd say, on last meeting about the budget. And I was like that because I am very passionate about the town of Spring Lake. I was also like that because I am learning. And the budget was presented to us. I feel like if I would have had got the budget prior to the day of the meetings, where I can look at it and see what's going on and I can ask my questions, then my questions would have not been able to be asked at the meetings. I had to personally understand what was going on. Even though our 7 positions were not filled in 2 years, it was because of the money that we had, that we didn't have to fill them. What I've learned from that meeting to this meeting and the meetings prior is sometimes we can't move by our passion. Sometimes we have to move by what is right. Even though I do not agree with us losing our officers, I do agree with saving this town. So with a lot of prayer and digging into myself, it becomes one or the other, and that's exactly what it is one or the other.
Yes.
I going on the word that I talked to these 2 gentlemen, as well as Miss Samantha, that said that as the money comes in, we can reposition and put our officers back in play. I'm going on with that positive note that can be done. I don't see it. But when you don't see things and you don't know what to do, you stand still.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping by the knowledge that you all have in y'all positions and the long term you've been there, as well as some of my fellow employee board members. I'm emotional. I'm sorry. Some of our several board members that they've been here longer than I have, and that we are doing the right thing. I'm not comfortable with it, but if we had to do what we had to do, I would do what we had to do, but that's all I have to say. Thank you, excuse me.
You're welcome. Oh, thank you, Alderman Jackson. I will tell you that you're exactly right. You do have a chance down the road if things turn around financially during the year. If you get more money than you expect from your tax levy or if you can charge additional fees. You can amend this budget as you go forward with everything but the tax rate. That once you do that, you cannot amend your tax rate at all during the year. You levy that and you're done. But the other numbers you can all amend if you have the resources to do so.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right about that. You're not engraving anything in stone with those. So, anyway.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem and then Alderwoman, Cooper. Go.
I'd like to speak after Mayor Pro Tem if possible, please.
You will definitely have that right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I was prepared to pass the budget last week. I'm prepared to pass it this morning. I don't think we need to wait until this afternoon, but you know, it's up to the board.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Sutherland. I'm sorry, I see the S. Alderwoman Cooper.
Thank you. I first want to thank you all, LGC and the State Auditor's Office for all the work you've put into this budget to help us get to a balanced option. I want to thank Ms. Nancy and Ms. Bullenweber for all of their tireless work as well. I also was prepared to pass that budget last week. And Ms. Sutherland has put a motion on the floor. And per Robert's Rules of Order, it requires a second and a vote. And I do second that motion to pass this budget that has been presented before us. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, you have a motion and a second on the floor to adopt the budget as presented.
Yes, sir. At this time, we have one Alderwoman who is not, she's in the building, but she stepped out. And the other Alderman is on the phone, is that right? He's on his way. Can you get him back on the phone? Can you get him back on the phone, and when the Alderwoman Jackson takes her seat and you connect with Alderman O'Gara, that we will proceed. And please put him on the microphone, on the speaker.
Mr. O'Gara, I got you on speaker, okay? We're getting ready to make a motion.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to say, I think we need to wait and do this tonight, since it is on the actual regular agenda for tonight. This is a special call meeting, just to ensure that everything is appropriate. We have had some discussions, and that will be the most appropriate action, is to do it tonight.
Mr. Charleston? So you put the mayor betwixt and between.
What is the reason, Ms. Mayor?
We had reached out to our boss, Sherry Emerson,
Yes.
secretary. She had preferred tonight because it was a regularly called meeting,
Yeah.
and the public will expect that.
And that
So
was-
she
yeah.
was proposing that you just postpone the action in your motion until tonight.
And that
With
was,
your professionalism, I'll pull back my motion and wait till tonight, but tonight is not guaranteed, who's gonna be here as well, but I understand what you're saying, since that is your legal.
Yeah.
And if our legal, Mr. Charleston understands, I will withdraw my motion.
Okay.
okay, I guess he can, look forward to coming tonight, Mr. O'Gara. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, Mr. Charleston.
I think that, I mean, I hear what the LGC folks are recommending. But it might be appropriate to go ahead and go on record recommending approval of the budget, recommending approval, and then you can take official action on it later tonight. But we need to go ahead and get this budget adopted.
That's right.
We spent a lot of time working on it, and everything that the LGC said is correct. If we need to come back and amend the budget at a later time, we can do it. But it's been made very clear over time that, we're gonna have to get some processes and disciplines around the budget process. And I think that recommending approval of the budget this evening will be an appropriate affirmation of the work that's been done so far.
Thank you, sir. And we have heard the recommendation, starting with Alderwoman Sutherland during her talk, and that was followed by Alderwoman Jackson, and then Mayor Pro Tem, and then Alderwoman Cooper. I heard the four voices that spoke a recommendation to adopt the budget. Again, we will make it official tonight upon voting. Again, with a motion, a second, and a vote. I did hear that that's what the public expect, because when we met on Wednesday night, I don't know what was expected, but we could not adequately do the business of the town. That's why this meeting was called for this morning, so that we would have, even in the 12th hour, the opportunity to adopt this budget. And here we are. Now we see and we hear that there is agreement or passion and concern that the budget will be adopted. And so we will do it according to the expectation of the public. And we thank you all for coming. Someone did wish that this would be a short meeting, and it is pretty short.
Yeah.
It is pretty short, but the action will be taken tonight.
Okay.
Now, if someone doesn't survive until 6 o'clock tonight, well, I don't want to go there. But thank you all for coming.
Thank you. And
Now, will you all be here tonight?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, this is Jonathan Charleston here. I just want to make sure that that we're clear on what we're going to be doing at the meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. Okay? And is that item on the budget, Miss Manager, the budget amendment, the budget adoption is on the agenda for tonight at 6 o'clock?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, it is, Mr. Charleston.
Okay. I have no further questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alderwoman Jackson.
I think we should do what our honorable mayor said, is if the budget meeting is for us to adopt it tonight, should be tonight, then tonight it should be, that we will come, we will vote, a motion will be heard, second, and a vote. And our mayor has spoken, and I think that's all we need to hear. Thank you.
I think it's in order. I did withdraw my motion. I think that's what I did. So we will, as I stated, move forward. I just want to make sure the attorney understands I did withdraw the motion.
The board understands. We heard the withdrawal of your motion, and we pretty much have done. I'm sorry. Back to you, Ms. Willen Weaver.
Oh, no, sir. If there are no further questions, then I will not proceed with the presentation. It's the same one from last week. I was just going to do a week recap, but I feel that I think everything has been addressed this morning, but happy to do present or answer any questions you have.
Alderwoman Jackson.
I make a motion that we,
Oh, no. She asked if you have any questions.
oh, I'm sorry. No, ma'am, I'm sorry.
She asked if you have any questions.
No, I'm good.
Okay. No questions there, Ms. Willen Weaver.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Alderwoman Jackson.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting for today.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded that this special call meeting be adjourned.